Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Hannah and I make videos all about being a mom, respectful, gentle parenting, holistic, healthy living, and budgeting, and much more. So if any of that interests you, please click that subscribe button and join me on this journey. Today's video is part 2 of the gentle night weaning. If you haven't seen the first video, I will link it down below, and it is all about the preparation I did for my son to night wean. So it's very important you watch that one before this one because it will not go as smooth or as to plan if those tips are not implemented with your child. So if you have watched this video, welcome to the second one. We're just going to get right down to business, and that is, first things first, be sure when you go to sleep and you've decided that you want a night wean that you're wearing clothes that aren't easily accessible. We all know those moments where you've fallen asleep and then you wake up and your child's on your boob and you don't even know how they got there. Happens to the best of us. So be sure you're wearing, I like this shirt right here. T-shirts are the best way to go unless your kid is all about just lifting your shirt up real quick. Mine wasn't. I was really big into just wearing nursing tank tops to bed, and that just kind of translated to me wearing regular tank tops to bed so my kid could just move the tank top easily and get right on the boob. So once I implemented this, it just made it a bit harder, a bit more work for him, a bit more work for me. It gave me a bigger incentive to want to continue and stay committed to the whole process, which is so important. You have to stay consistent and committed. If there is ever a moment of weakness, which happens to all of us, don't sweat it, but really be sure to enforce it next time. And the stronger willed you can be through this whole process, the faster it will go and the more peaceful it will be. So when I started to finally implement night weaning, I first took the first feeding away. Again, I explained to my son that, hey, the first time you wake up at night to get milk, Milkies will be asleep, referencing back to the book I had told you about. Milkies will be asleep because it is dark out. So the first time you ask for milk, because like I said, he woke up every hour and a half to 2 hours. Whew. And that first one, I just decided that was how we were going to do it. We were going to start with the first one, then go to the second, and work our way all the way down to the morning time, because I felt like the morning one would actually be the hardest to take away because he would be so tired by that point and still in a daze that he would just work better that way. So do what works for you, but that worked for me. So I took the first one away. And once he was okay with that, which took I think a few days, maybe the first feeding maybe took like a week to a week and a half, but once he just slept through that part, then I moved on to the second feeding and the third. I don't even remember how many feedings there were at this point. Basically, I just did it to when he woke up. And again, I would always reference back saying, it's dark out, Milkies are still asleep. And then we'd go back to sleep. Now, this may sound counterintuitive to some people because then the next time he wakes up and it's still dark, you give him the milk. But it worked for us. It was really for my sanity, because the later it got, the more tired I got. It just made it easier to break it down in the steps where he slept a little longer at first, and then a little longer, and then a little longer. You get it. I followed his lead on how long it took him to get used to each of the feedings going away. The main thing is, when you say Milkies are asleep, you have to keep your foot down and not give in until they have fallen right back to sleep. If you in the beginning get that down to where your kid knows when you say Milkies are asleep that means no milk whatsoever, no matter what, they're going to hear that and fall right back to sleep instead of fighting you. To soothe my son, because there were times, he's half asleep, so he's way more emotional. I would pick him up. I would just give him affirmations like, Mommy loves you, I am here for you, I know this is hard for you right now. I would keep repeating that, Milkies are asleep. They will be up, and when the sun shines, that's when you can have them. If I needed to, like if I felt like he was getting a bit, like he just couldn't, I'd be holding him at this time. Or if he was getting too angry or too frustrated, I would go back to rocking him to sleep and then laying him down right by me. and repeating the process. So this way, it just felt to me, I wasn't just leaving him hanging. He wasn't going through this alone, and it was frustrating. I will be honest with you all, like it tests, especially with your lack of sleep, it tests your, it tests you. That's all I'm getting at. Like you have to be on it. And my husband did wake up a few times to help, but it made my son more upset when my husband would be involved, because I've just always been the person at night. So it made him more upset. And he loves his dad. He loves him so much. But when it came to nighttime stuff, it was just up to me, and I just accepted that. I will tell you, the first week of doing this, the kid would fall asleep. The second week lay down, he'd wake up, and I just had to repeat the process. So that first week for me was the roughest, but after that it was a lot smoother sailing. I got to the point where I didn't rock him. If he cried, I would just hold him and I would tell him again. I would just always repeat that I'm here and that I understood why he was feeling how he was feeling, and I reassured him that he would be getting milk. They're just not at that time. Another thing I did implement was, before I went to bed, I would say, you know, if you get thirsty or you feel like you want milk, Milky's will be asleep, but we do have your water. So I always told him when we were rocking to sleep or before I laid him down that I told him what my expectations were of the night, so, or what he should expect. You know, Milky's are going to sleep. I would just reiterate that when I was putting him down to sleep, so he had that in his mind while he was going to bed, that Milky's were going to sleep too, and Milky's did not want to get up till the sun shined. When I finally got to the last feeding, which was in the morning, I will let you know that he did sleep through the night, but he would wake up a lot earlier than he normally would. I kind of set that rule of anything 7 or after, he could get milk again. Because by that time the sun was shining. Once that was implemented and we got down to that final time of no milk before 7, he slept all the way until 7. So just keep in mind your child will probably wake up earlier because they know that they're ready for that milk. But like at this point, he's a little over 2.5. He doesn't have that feeding at all, you know, in the morning or at lunch. But for that time, that's what worked for us. So I hope this video helped. If you are in any situation of night weaning or wanting to night wean or having that sleep, be sure to give this video a like. Let me know down below where you're at, your thoughts, or maybe even your suggestions, what you heard that I haven't mentioned in this series, just for other moms to read and learn from. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said before, if you haven't already, please subscribe, and I will catch you in my next video. Talk to you later. Good luck catching more Z's, okay? I mean...